I just made a cup of green tea, and I used to make a cup of green tea nearly every single day, and I haven't in a really long time just because it's been so hot. But now that the weather is cooling off and my favorite fall weather is coming around, I'm back on tea and I'm obsessed. So good. Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay. If you're old, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you're new, I hope you will stick around and consider subscribing. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the story of how I became a teacher and how I found my passion in life. I feel like a lot of students these days, whether you're in high school or in college, they do not know what they want to do. They don't know what specifically interests them and how they can make a living. Many people grow up and they have their whole lives planned out, and then they get to college and realize that what they had thought they were going to do with their life or what they had planned isn't what was going to be. And that's perfectly okay. The average college student will change their major about 4 times within their whole college experience. This is my story, and let's just get right into it. My freshman year of high school was actually a really good year for me. I got mostly A's and B's. I was a cheerleader. I went to a high performance Catholic high school, so it was a private school. As the years went on, the work got harder and harder. I unfortunately got distracted with a lot of the common things that teenagers get distracted by, whether that be, dating, relationships, extracurricular activities, school drama, home drama, family life. And by the time I reached my senior year, I was not in a relationship. I did not want to date. I decided that my senior year was going to be the best year of my life, and I was going to do really well. I went in with a really positive mindset. However, it made me sad because I had wasted my sophomore and junior year being distracted, not doing my best. When I was growing up, I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to be a performer. I would tell everybody I ran into that I was going to be on Broadway when I got older. However, my high school really taught me that being a Broadway star performer was an unrealistic dream for me. And my parents, who are very realistic and idealistic people, told me that I needed to find my passion elsewhere, and performing would always be a hobby. During my senior year, when I was thinking about what I wanted to major in college, I was at a loss. I would look through the different majors offered by the colleges I was looking at, and I would just be completely clueless because none of them really interest me as much as performing did. A lot of the girls and even some boys in my grade, they were going to college to be nurses. I have been told that I'm a very kind person, I'm very pleasant to be around, I'm helpful, so I thought that being a nurse would be the perfect thing to major in. My dad is a cardiologist, my mom was a physician's assistant, and my stepmother is a nurse, and so I had a lot of medical influence within my family. I knew that if I was a nurse, I would make a ton of money, I would have job security, I would have insurance, and if I said I was going into the nursing field, into the medical field like my family was, I knew that that was going to make my family extremely happy, so I decided to pick nursing as my major. When I had selected the college I wanted to attend, I was not accepted into the nursing program automatically as a freshman because of my ACT score, my TEAS test scores, and my overall grades in high school. They told me that if I could work hard, get good grades my first year of college, and pass a couple of required courses to get into the nursing program, that I would be accepted As a sophomore, I understood the reasonings why I wasn't accepted into the nursing program right away. So I was put as an academic exploration major. And what that meant was they knew that nursing was my goal. That was what I wanted to do. They were going to put me in classes to help me get into the nursing program. My advisor would also put me in a couple courses to help me learn about the different fields that were out there. My advisors even told me that they were shocked that I was considering nursing because I was a very good writer, I was very passionate, and they thought that I had something special about me. I remember before college started, my mom's boyfriend had a very frank and very honest, open discussion with me, and he said, I don't think nursing is the right major for you. I don't think you really want to do nursing. I don't think that it's going to be something that you'll enjoy long term. However, I don't care. It is your life and you can do what you want. At the time, I remember thinking that was so mean and why would you say that to me? But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know what, you're right. I'm scared to death and I have no idea what to do. I knew that I wanted to be in a career where I could help people. Nursing seemed like the obvious answer of a career where I could help people and make a lot of money. In college, I was required to take an anatomy and physiology course, and I ended up doing really well in the course, and I found it really interesting. And once I started to do well in the nursing courses, I got excited because I knew that I could prove everyone around me wrong and that I could be a nurse and that I could do it. After a year of working very hard to be accepted into the nursing program, the summer of 2014, I received my acceptance letter into the nursing program at my university, and I was so excited. I was so thrilled that I had worked hard enough to be accepted into such a prestigious program, one of the most prestigious nursing programs in the country. I didn't want to skip a beat. I wanted to continue on with my nursing program. So that is the summer that I decided to sign up for a course that was required by my nursing program, and I would get it done during the summer. This was a very difficult summer because it is the summer that I was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. In short, I was diagnosed on July 25th, 2014. My summer nursing class was actually how I found out I had type 1 diabetes. My diagnosis was very difficult. It took me a while to feel comfortable with checking my blood sugar, giving shots, and managing my condition. I had about a 2 to 3 week break before school started again. I did very well my first semester of my sophomore year. I earned really good grades. I studied really hard. During the semester, I was going to nursing school. I was going to diabetes education classes, managing my condition. I was cheerleading. I had a bit of a social life, and I had, a really good family life going. So I felt very, very positive about how my life was going. My second semester of my sophomore year is the time when things started to get not so fine. I was still working hard. I still had a very good mindset of I want to do well and I'm going to do well. However, my life became entirely about medicine and type 1 diabetes, diabetes in general, and it all came crashing down on me. I was attending nursing classes, I was starting on an insulin pump, I was attending clinical labs for my nursing program, and cheerleading, and I was trying to balance all of these things. Once again, it seemed like I was just a walking diabetes patient and just a walking textbook for medical information, And that was what my whole life was about. And my parents knew how prestigious and how important this nursing program was, so they encouraged me to study all the time, and they would constantly tell me how much I needed to study and what I needed to do in order to earn the best grades possible. I was dating someone who was not good for me. He wasn't, someone I really should have ever dated. I just became very depressed. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about how I was feeling. I felt a lot of pressure, the pressure to just be this perfect person and this perfect diabetic. And it was just so much emotion, and my depression was creeping through. I remember I was sitting at a cafe in my college's library, and one of my best friends at the time, she came up to me and she noticed that I wasn't doing very well. It was a picture showing different stages of depression. So it showed a picture of a girl, and then there was a black figure behind her, and as the figure got closer to her, it started wrapping itself around her, and soon the frame was just all black because depression had finally consumed her. And my friend said, I've been watching you for a while, and I can see that you're not doing well, and this is the direction I feel like you're going. Are you okay? Do you need help? Like, what can I do to help? And I told her I didn't know, and I couldn't really explain to her what was going on because I also felt like I was being a baby and it was all in my head. Everyone was just so proud of me. They were so happy for me, and I thrived off of people affirming me, and my love language is words of affirmation. And when you compliment me, or when I receive compliments, or someone says something nice, whatever, it really fuels me and makes me want to do better. So if I decided to talk about my feelings, people would know what was going on, and they wouldn't be proud of me anymore, and I knew that I would just fall into a deeper hole, if that made any sense. It was also a question of, if I didn't do nursing, if I changed my major, what the heck would I do? In April of 2015, people close to me, being my parents and my best friend, they noticed that I was getting worse and I wasn't happy. It soon became an all-consuming depression. Even though I would see my ex-boyfriend very often, the person I was dating at the time, he didn't pick up on any of the signs that I was depressed. He didn't know that any of this was going on. He didn't know that I was feeling sad, and he did nothing. One day I was laying on my mom's couch, and I was just really sad, and I started to cry. My mom came over and sat on the couch next to me, asked me what was wrong, and this was the time where I just laid it all out. I told my mom everything. I left out no details, and I told her I am not happy. I don't want to be a nurse. I can't be a nurse, and I don't know what I want to do with my life. My mom, who is a very sentimental person, could see that I wasn't happy. She knows I wear my heart on my sleeve, so she hugged me and she told me that it was okay. I needed to breathe. She understood why I felt like I had to go into the nursing program, why I had to make them happy. At this time, my mom had told me, it's always been a dream of mine for one of my children to become a teacher. And when my mom had told me that she liked the idea of teaching, I immediately could picture myself in a classroom surrounded by kids and me teaching them. It made me feel excited and happy, and I love kids. I really enjoy working with kids. And I also thought, what better way to help people than to become a teacher? Oh my gosh. So for the first time in such a long time, I felt happy. I felt really happy and I felt really excited. I felt like elementary education would be the perfect fit for me, and I decided that after the year was out, I was going to switch my major and become an elementary education major. Telling my mother this was the easy part, but telling my dad was the hard part. You have to understand that my dad is a very accomplished man. He is a very accomplished cardiologist. He works very hard. He is smart. He is the smartest man I know and will ever know. So when I told him that I was going to change my major and that I wasn't happy, my dad doesn't buy the tears. He just wanted me to, toughen up and to keep going. But I told him that wasn't something that I could do and I wasn't going to be happy. My dad thought I was being overly dramatic. He thought I was taking the easy way out. The next day I went to my college, and in the nursing lounge at my university, they have, I think they called it a quiet room, and it sounds strange, but it's this little office area. Inside it, there is a couch, there's a chair, and it's surrounded by strong Christmas lights. So it's completely dark, and you could go in there and you could just sit in the soft light. You could pray, you could think, you could just rest. It was there for that. I was in the room for almost an hour. I just cried my eyes out and I prayed and I asked God for guidance, and I needed help. I was starting to dig my way out of this hole, but I knew it wasn't going to be an easy transition. So I just asked God to help me, to be here for me, and to encourage me to make the right decisions. After I had spent a good amount of time in there, I went to go see my advisor, who is so kind and one of the most understanding people I know. I explained to her everything that was going on. It was like a therapy session, and I felt so bad because I was in there for so long and I cried so much. And she looked at me and she said, "I've been waiting for this day. I've been waiting for you to, really find your passion, and I think teaching would be perfect for you." So my advisor spent a good amount of time explaining the protocols and the standards of the education programs, what kind of degrees in education they offer, the curriculum, so everything I could ever wanted to know about the education program. And she explained to me how it is kind of similar to nursing. I would have class time and I would have clinical time, or they call it field hours in the world of education. I loved what I heard. I was so excited to finally start in a new major where I would be happy and where I could really be good at something. And most importantly, it was time for me to take a stand, to not let anyone else make a decision for me. It was a decision, the first decision I've ever made that was for me, for my happiness, and for the better of my future. That week, I had told my parents about my decision. Although they had mixed feelings, they could see that it was going to make me happy, and they told me that I really needed to focus and this better be what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So for the fall 2015 semester, I officially changed my major to elementary and special education, so I was going to double major. So when I decided to change my major, I changed advisors. So because my advisor was in the nursing program and I needed an advisor in the education program. I had an appointment with the head of the special education department. She welcomed me with open arms and a really big smile. She had her office decorated like a classroom, which made me so happy. She had so many different manipulatives and posters and anchor charts and fun toys around that she brings to teach. We talked for a very long time. She asked me, like, what's your story? What do you want to accomplish in education? What is your dream grade to teach? So we talked a lot about future goals and aspirations, and she helped me set up my schedule. She told me about the different clubs and organizations I can join. Everything sounded perfect to me, and I left her office feeling so hopeful and so excited. The summer of 2015 was one of the most difficult summers I've ever experienced in my lifetime. A lot was going on with the guy that I was dating. A lot was going on with the friendships that I had and the friendships that I was forming with people. My depression and anxiety grew worse due to the situations and the experiences I had during the summer of 2015. I went to go see a psychologist who diagnosed me with depression, anxiety, and insomnia. He recommended that I start on medication. At the end of summer 2015, my ex-boyfriend and I brought our relationship to a close. So after we had broken up, I felt a huge weight lifted off my shoulder, and I realized that I was going to take this year to find my passion, work harder, be a better person. I washed my hands away of all the negativity, and the third week of August 2015 was going to be the week where everything would change for the better. My first day, I had my first education class, so I was excited and I was nervous at the same time, but I knew that this was a new day, new major, new Lindsay. The moment I walked into my first education class, I knew that this was going to be the major for me. The second class I took the next day was more of a hardcore education class. We talked strictly about our field hours and what is expected of us to learn in our field hours and lesson plans that we were going to be learning how to write. For this particular class, we were told that we would be going into an elementary school to gain field hour experience. We were required to earn 50 hours in the classroom. We could earn more if we chose. So this excited me right away because the classroom is where you learn the most. Inside a physical classroom, whether you're elementary ed or secondary ed, in your field hours, that is where you're going to learn the most and discover if the profession is right for you. I was assigned to a first grade classroom with a very special teacher, and I will never forget it. So I met my supervising teacher. We clicked right away. She showed me around the classroom, she showed me around the school, and explained to me the schedule for the day. When the kids came in, my teacher introduced me and told me that I could do whatever I wanted in the classroom, whatever I felt comfortable with, I could do. I wanted to be as active and engaged in the classroom as possible, and so I did everything. I was around the classroom constantly. I never sat down unless I was with a student giving a test or reading, and it was one of the most life-changing experiences I will ever have. Like I said, we had to earn 50 hours within that classroom, and I ended up earning 100. As I was growing and flourishing in my new major, I fell deeper and deeper in love with education. I would spend my nights and weekends researching different teaching strategies, making anchor charts, planning lessons, and trying to figure out ways that I could keep my students, engaged within the classroom and also help my supervising teachers. I was really into my profession, and I just didn't ever see myself stopping. My parents were over the moon and shocked because they saw that I was happy again. I was Lindsay again. I was animated when I spoke. I was excited every day. Every night I had homework or an activity or some form of studying that I needed to do. So teaching was not easy. It is not easy to memorize all the standards of, education, and to write and plan lessons and to make corrections to lessons. So it wasn't easy by any means, but I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed working with students and these kids. It was the perfect match for me. I earned straight A's. I had a 4.0 GPA. I had worked so hard. No one had helped me. No one did any of the work for me. It felt great knowing that this was an accomplishment, again, that I achieved all on my own. When my parents saw my grades at the end of each semester and at the end of every year, and when they saw me planning lessons and typing away on my computer and how hard I was working, they realized that education wasn't the easy way out for me, but it was the way to happiness, and it was the way to finding joy for me. As I progressed in my program, once again, the work got harder, the studying got longer, and the lesson plans got more intense. Although there were some times when, it would be overwhelming, it was all worth it because I was so passionate about being a teacher and falling in love with this profession that I knew that I would. I had really positive comments from my supervising teachers. In May of 2018, I graduated from my university's education program with high honors, straight A's, a 4.0 GPA, and became 2 degrees hotter. It was one of the most memorable days of my life. I couldn't believe how happy and how excited I was receiving my diploma, and all my hard work had paid off. Looking back at my college experience, I wouldn't change it for the world. I went through what I went through for a reason, and it was all a part of God's plan for me to find what I love. I had found what I wanted to do with my life. I had become my own person. I had become more confident and a kinder, better, smarter person because of everything that happened. You have to push yourself forward and always do what's best for you. You have to do what you love and love what you do. That is one of my favorite quotes. And surround yourself with people who are kind, understanding, non-judgmental, and loving, because they are the ones who will help you, motivate you, and encourage you throughout the process. It isn't easy to stand up for yourself. It's never easy to go against the plans that you thought you had for yourself, but sometimes the hardest thing to do is going to be the best thing to do. Ever since I was little, all I've wanted to do is be in a job where I can help people, and now I have the best job in the world and I help people every day. I have so much to learn and I have so much to experience from being a teacher. I have a long ways to go before I'm a master teacher. I'm very much looking forward to the expedition that is education. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to you guys later. Bye.